Hi everyone, I'm Joel Baird, the General Manager of Missoula Community Access Television.
And I'm Kim Anderson. I'm on the board of MCAT, and I'm the Director of Programs and Grants at Humanities Montana.
We'd like to invite you to this spring edition.
It's here, it's finally here. Oh my gosh.
I know, so many times we've been here before you telling you that it's going to get better.
They've heard us whine about the weather quite a bit. Yeah.
I almost wore
especially.
my sandals.
No more
but
socks. No more
I
socks.
didn't. I was feeling a little chill.
Yeah.
So I don't have a great deal to tell you about MCAT's to-doings, except this. Saturday animation drop-in for kids is still going on.
Yeah.
So we're on the 7th. You know the show will be on every day for 2 weeks and replaced by a new show on May 20th. So it'll still be true that for this coming Saturday and the Saturday following, animation drop-in is
just 2 more weeks.
Yeah, and if your kids get a little withdrawal from not being around us at MCAT, you can always consider signing them up for our summer camps. There are 3 camps that are suitable for kids aged 9 to 13, and they'll be held late June, mid-July. And then at the end of July is the big kid camp, zombie movie making camp. That's for kids 13 and above, because the content is a little more striking. So they're striking each other is what they like to do. And I didn't know if you wanted to reiterate that the bonfire toolkit for Humanities Montana.
Oh, our do-it-yourself Humanities Toolkit, gather round. Well, there are still about 12 kits available. This is an invitation, and you're seeing it on the screen now, an invitation to host your own dinner party, picnic, gathering of friends where you talk about provocative subjects. We show you how to do it. You have your own humanities event in your home. It's totally free. And if you go to the website, you'll find out more information about the Gather Round program. But in the last 2 weeks, since we first introduced it, 40 of them have flown out the door. And
That's
we only
really
have
great.
50. So,
Wow.
And the only other thing I have to talk about is that we will be holding a Humanities Montana board meeting, which is open to the public, in Red Lodge, Montana, on May 17th and 18th.
Bless your soul for getting around the state, because you really do. It's Humanities Montana.
Yeah, but Red Lodge is not a hardship.
Okay. Well, I'd like to introduce you to our first guests today. They're undertaking a really interesting adventure. Here's Brian and Dawn Douglas. Thank you so much for being in the studio.
Thanks for having us.
You know it. So, do you want to tell people a little bit about what's going on with respect to this historic airplane and a historic gathering in Normandy, France?
Yes, so June 6th of this year is the 75th anniversary of the D-Day invasion, which is probably the most historic assault in history, and of course changed the tide of the war. And one of the most pivotal airplanes in that event was the C-47 or the DC-3. And for this event, there are a group of American and other DC-3s coming from all over the world to meet up in Normandy and drop paratroopers in original uniforms and round chutes over Normandy, and we fly across the channel, drop those parachutists, and then we spend about a week in Normandy celebrating and doing scenic flights. And we are getting ready, arguably the most historic and famous airplane of Montana, the Man Gulch plane that dropped the jumpers on the Man Gulch fire. We've been working on getting her ready for about 10 months. She's ready to fly any day, if not hour. And we're hoping to leave next Monday to make the trip. Wow. The journey would be a
Right, the journey indeed.
Yeah.
And I see Scott, as you can see on the monitor there, Scott is showing some footage that I took Saturday before last out at the Museum of Mountain Flying History. And there she is. It's got Missoula, Montana right on the side. And that number, I guess, has it always had the NC-243?
Yes, ever since it became a civilian plane in '46.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is clearly a huge undertaking that's taken some years to put together.
Well, actually, not years, less than a year.
Really?
Remarkably, it's a incredible amount of work to do in a year. If I'd have known how much it was, oh man, it's been crazy. And the amount of but what's inspiring is the number of people, really competent, sharp, hardworking people. Almost all of them volunteers, show up every day and have for months and months to work on this airplane.
Wow.
And we're very close to getting her going.
That's really wonderful. When I went out there, Brian and Dawn, there were a lot of people, you know, and they looked extremely loyal. They
Yeah.
really did. They looked like
They knew what they were doing.
they could
yeah.
be camping out in
Right.
their airplane hangar, you know, and it started up. It really did. The cowling
Yeah.
was off. I think people saw in that video the cowling for the engine.
Right.
Is there like a starboard? I don't know the terms. You know, this was on the right side of the plane.
Yeah, that's the number 2 engine, right?
Yeah.
Right side engine, sure. And we've been running them about every day, working out some adjustments and some bugs.
Right.
But we're very close to having her flying, and we were hoping to fly today, but we had some things we need to check, and so we're kind of looking hopefully at tomorrow, depending on the weather.
And this machine was first built in the mid-40s as part of the Second World War effort.
Her 75th birthday was Saturday,
Oh my gosh,
my
it is
May 5th of
timely.
1944,
Wow.
built as a military C-47, but she never went overseas. The war was over before she went overseas.
Oh.
And so when the war was over, there were all these airplanes, and they were sold. Bob Johnson from Missoula bought this plane,
Sure.
brought it back here, used it at the Man Gulch fire, and then
Right.
for 30 years, used it all over the country, and especially in the Northwest for backcountry work in
Right.
the wilderness and dropping smoke jumpers. So it's got a unique Montana history.
Yeah. I know we have to back up for some people, and especially young people, because I don't know if you guys have had this experience, like you might mention something like John F. Kennedy, and they're like scratching their head, or the Vietnam War. So, I mean, this is my understanding of the D-Day, that it was the first Allied assault, right, on the German front that was going to push its way all the way to Berlin and end the war eventually, right?
Yeah,
So-
it was the first major assault. There were some other steep assaults on the beaches that we kind of learned from before the Operation Overlord, but this was the biggest one, and probably will be the biggest one ever in history. I don't imagine that would ever be exceeded, even by modern standards.
Let's
Let's
hope
hope
not,
not.
right?
Yeah, right,
That's
right.
the first
Yeah.
impulse.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
let's hope not.
And there are tons of books out there where you can read about it. It's a fascinating event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, in order to get over there is still some fundraising that is
Yes.
going to happen.
Yes.
You want to talk about
I
that
would love
a
to.
little bit?
We really need some help. We have raised close to $400,000,
Oh my gosh.
and it's all private donations.
Wow.
Yeah, all private donations, and we thought that was going to be enough to do the whole thing initially. We found some additional things we needed to fix, so we've got enough money to get the airplane flying. We need to raise about $50,000 more in order to go on the trip, to go over and back. Once we get to England, then there are organizations over there that have raised the money to pay our expenses. So that's
that's
nice.
wonderful.
Incredible.
And Scott, I don't know, could you show the website that they have? And it's a long string. It was something like, you guys know it, bring Miss Montana to Normandy.com or something.
Oh, the website is missmontanadenormandy.com.
Yeah.
And we're on Facebook and Instagram, and there's ways to donate on the website and on Facebook.
And we do have a great event coming up
Huge.
this
Right.
Saturday night. It's a wonderful gala that we've been planning, and 1940 spirit is going to be in the air. There'll be military dress and ladies in 1940s attire. And what I'm most excited about is that our Ed Norton Big Band will be playing for us that night.
Oh, they're great.
And
that's
it's just
great.
going to be such a send-off to honor our volunteers and our donors, our veterans, just everybody who's been involved in the project.
And people who want to get involved can get involved by buying tickets to
Right.
the event.
Right.
Now, so the gala, which is Saturday, May 11th, where is it going to be held?
It's at the museum.
Oh, great.
We'll push the big airplane out so we have room for the party.
Right.
But she'll be right there.
Museum of Mountain Flying.
Right.
It's out by the museum. There are signs out there, pretty easy to find.
I found it really easily. You know, I
Good,
had not
good.
yet been when I went
Yeah.
out to record the engine check. And I thought, okay, so go like you're going to the airport, just turn to the left. There's a stop sign as traffic is leaving, you know, in the big circle.
Right.
Boom, you're right there.
Yeah.
And we'll try
We
to
are-
make it very obvious.
Yeah.
There will be lots of signs.
Balloon it up
We are going to
and
have
stuff.
3 D-Day veterans present, assuming they all can make it. 2 of them are nearby, one's a little ways away, but we're sending a private airplane down to pick him up
Oh,
out of
wow.
Idaho. So those are why we're doing it. Those and the smoke jumpers. We're going to have most of the jumpers that are going to jump out of our plane will be there, and they'll be dressed in their jump uniforms.
That's
So yes, it'll be a blast from the past.
Yeah. And you were mentioning earlier, Brian, that this being the 75th anniversary of the D-Day, that for veterans of the Second World War, they're probably, it's going to be harder for them to make it to the 80th.
Right. They may
Right.
not
This
even
is really
be alive. Most of them are in their late 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Between 95 and 100 years old, if you do the math.
Sure.
So, yeah, and there are fewer every year, of course. So
Yeah.
this is a big event. That's why I think that's one of the reasons we're doing it, is because this will never happen again. The nexus of
Yeah.
all these things will never happen again. We want to be there representing Montana, representing Missoula, and sending our airplane, which never fought in the war. We kind of feel like it's completing our mission.
Yeah, she's going to finally get over there.
Right, yeah.
And if people want to buy tickets, I know you've got that great poster. Dawn, if you hand it to me, I'll set it up for Scott to get a little
There you go.
zoom in on this.
It's 5 o'clock on May 11th at the museum. You can contact the numbers on there or on Facebook. Send a note on Facebook and get tickets that way. Or if you're unable to come and you want to donate, there are buttons on our website that'll take your money.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely.
Because
But what a fun event.
It'll be a hoot.
the
there's gonna
tickets
be
are 65
dancing,
each, 100 per couple. Kids of 5 and under
Right.
are free.
Dinner, drinks, live music,
Right,
and
that
an
includes
auction.
1940s or Montana dress. That's a good idea.
Yes, well, any excuse to get dressed up.
Yeah.
In Montana, it's rare.
Yeah. That's
It
wonderful.
looks like it'll be a blast, and I hope it's very, very successful for the event.
Yeah. Anything you want to add before we
Boy,
go?
we're just excited. It's getting close. We have a lot
Yeah.
of work to do, but if we can pull this off, it'll be epic, and you'll see it in the national news, international
I
news.
saw the
Yeah.
CBS. Was it CBS that did an interview?
Yes, CBS is
National,
going to CBS Sunday
exposure.
morning is going to air their episode on June 2nd,
Oh, perfect.
and we expect to see them over there as well.
And
I
you
hope
can
we'll
look,
get you some bucks too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hope so.
look up in the sky just this week because
Right.
there'll be 2 airplanes.
I was just going to
flying
ask,
around.
Yes.
should we be looking up
You
tomorrow?
should. We've been training in a DC-3 that was purchased for training.
I saw that today.
Yes, I was up in it today, and we'll be flying all day, every day that we can, until we leave.
Oh,
And then
that's great.
as soon as Miss Montana is flying, we'll have that in the news, of course, and
Yeah.
you'll see 2 of them over the valley.
Oh,
That's
wow.
really
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
And then I just want to point out people at home that this journey is fairly epic. The plane is going to go first to
Connecticut,
Connecticut
and
and
then-
then do a
yes.
flyover around Manhattan.
And Manhattan Island on Saturday the 18th. About 12 or 13 of the planes will be in formation doing that. And then immediately after that, we'll leave for Goose Bay, Labrador. These airplanes don't have enough range to go the whole way, nonstop,
Right.
or
Right.
speed.
Right.
So we'll go from Goose Bay, Labrador to Narsarsuaq, Greenland, on the southern tip of Greenland, into Iceland, and then into Scotland. And then on June 2nd, we fly into Duxford, England, and we meet all the other planes coming from elsewhere in the world.
Oh, my
That's
gosh.
it's going to be so exciting.
Very
it'll
historic.
Be pinch myself every day, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's the least you deserve for all this work you two have
Oh, and
put
it's,
in.
you know,
Hundreds
what's
of
too bad
hours.
is we can't take everybody along.
Yeah.
All these volunteers have worked and worked and worked, and they're going with us in spirit.
That's right.
Yeah.
And FaceTime too.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time
Oh,
to be
our
on
pleasure.
the show.
Thanks for having us.
Good luck with the event this
Thank you.
weekend.
And then once again, this is a send-off gala for the Miss Montana to Normandy. It's May 11th at 5 p.m. If you'd like more information, you can go to missmontana-to-normandy.com. So we'll be right back along this theme. Susan Campbell, Reneau, who is no stranger to viewers of this program, she is here to give us another rundown of all the events she's organized with others, of course, for the upcoming Memorial Day weekend, which we'll talk about right after this.
Hello! MCAT is offering 4 summer camps to kids who are interested in everything media, from stop animation documentary filmmaking to a full zombie feature film. Your kids will learn how to make a movie from concept to filming and the editing process. We have counselors that will help your child's vision come to life, but they're only limited by their imagination. So, sign up by logging on to MCAT.org or stop by at 500 North Higgins, Suite 105. Wazoo!
Saturday drop. Okay, we're back.
Interesting.
No, I think, or was that? Anyway, we're back. We're back with Susan Campbell, Reneau. We're here to talk about not just Memorial Day weekend events, but as a segue to Brian and Dawn being here, you might tell people that you are going to participate in the 75th observance of the D-Day as well.
How'd you get a seat on the plane?
Well, I'm not sure I'm going to have the nerve to get in the plane, but my husband was a parachutist in Vietnam,
my God.
and he's like pumped.
I bet.
He wants to be. He goes, "You bet I'm gonna be in it." And it's like, I'm not sure, but my son lives in New York City. And I don't know if he mentioned, because I couldn't hear your interview, but my husband and I are flying to Washington, D.C. because my parents are buried at Arlington.
Wow.
And we're going to be there for Memorial Day. And I've set up Memorial Day here because I've done it for 27 years.
You took care of it all.
27
I've done it all because I'm a girl.
Even though you're going to be gone, you made sure everything would work like
And
clockwork.
thanks to you folks, the publicity is going to get out about Memorial Day, which is Monday, May 27th.
Right.
Right.
But I'm going to be then driving with my husband up to New York, and they're going to buzz the Statue of Liberty.
Yes, we talked about that, how they were going to do a flyover of Manhattan.
And we're going to be in the plane as
Oh, my
civilians. Oh my God!
So are you
if I
gonna
have
do
the
it?
guts, I'm not sure.
Okay, see how
My
you feel.
husband is probably for sure.
Right.
He's in. And then they're going to go up the coast and go over to England, and we're going to meet them in Cambridge, which is where all the planes are going to be.
Yeah, he was saying.
Wow.
He was saying.
Wow.
And you're going to take a commercial flight, and I'm glad
Yes,
to hear
I'm
it.
not
You'll be a
flying
lot
over
more
the North
comfortable.
Atlantic. I mean, the airplane, I don't know if you mentioned, but the airplane is like.
And I think it doesn't get as cold. It goes up about 14,000
Oh my
feet.
God, it would be
But,
cold.
yeah.
Yeah, no.
I would
Not
probably
so much.
not.
And I like, hot tubs and warm blankets. I'm a girl. I
Right.
like warmth. Anyway, Memorial Day.
Yes.
We are going to be honoring all the men, 350,000 of them, that stormed the beaches at Normandy this year. This is the 75th anniversary.
Yes.
And Memorial Day this year falls on Monday, the 27th of May. And the first service is at Caris Park, as it always is, which pays tribute to the men and women that died at sea, who were in the Navy and the Coast Guard.
Right.
And that service starts at 10 sharp, 10 a.m. Prior to that, there is a breakfast at the VFW. And it's by donation. And the ladies of the VFW Auxiliary, of which I am a life member, are going to be cooking. I don't cook. You don't want to eat what I cook.
Okay.
Oh, I'm not a domestic goddess. Oh, my God, no.
You're just a warmth, loving gal.
No, but
Now,
I'm not a cook.
Is it the VFW on Ronan or on East Main?
Oh,
Or West
I don't
Main?
know about Ronan. No, that's American Legion.
Oh,
this
okay,
week.
okay.
No, the VFW is on West Main at
Yeah.
245 West
Right.
Main, across from KCI Television. Is Zip Auto.
Zip
It's
Auto.
right next to Zip.
Right.
And you can zip in there. And the breakfast is from 7 to 10 a.m. On the 27th of May. And then you can meander over to
Caris
breakfast. And then from there, we're going to the courthouse. And then from there, we're going to
the fort.
the Fort Missoula Military Cemetery. And that is where we place a wreath at the base of Ole Beck, who was the name of the VFW Post 209.
Yeah.
And then we go to Western Montana State Cemetery, which will be at approximately 11:30 in the morning. I forgot something. At 6:30 in the morning, we do a sunrise service, and that is for those that committed suicide.
Oh.
Where does that take
And
place?
that is going to be at Western Montana State Veterans Cemetery.
Oh, okay.
And Dr. Al Oshevsky, who was in the military,
Right.
is going to be the keynote speaker this year. He showed up all the way from Kalispell last year, which was our first year. And then he's going to have breakfast with the veterans at the VFW. So 6:30 in the morning is at the Western Montana State Veterans Cemetery. We are going to place wreaths there, and there's 7 of them. And then we're going to go have breakfast. Then we're going to go to Karis Park. And then we start going all over the city. If people want to meet the bus is contributed by Beach Transportation.
Yeah, they do this. So good.
Every
Every
year.
year.
Yep.
They did it starting in the Korean War, thanks to Bob Beach.
Yeah.
And Bob Beach was a Korean War veteran who has since died. And you can follow the bus because there's only room for the Honor and Color Guard.
Yeah.
And
How are you doing with the Honor and Color Guard? Because
we
I know you
need
had
people.
some recruiting
people.
issues.
We need people.
Yeah.
We need people.
Okay.
So they are doing approximately 10 funerals per week at the Western Montana State Veterans
Wow.
Cemetery. And unfortunately, it takes a lot of people that are retired to do it because the younger veterans have jobs.
Right.
And they have babies, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
hard
Yeah.
to do it. But if anybody has time, they don't have to do every funeral. They can get in touch with me at bluemountain@montana.com, and I will get them in touch with whomever
Right.
to volunteer. But anyway, quickly to run down, you are going to post this schedule, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're going to put
This-
it on our community message board.
Okay, because it is too complicated.
It always
Oh.
is.
It's an entire
It
day
always
full.
is.
But
of
let me
events.
just say this, there are 51 wreath presentations.
Yeah, I saw that on the
Wow.
top.
We do more, you remember this?
Yes.
We do more than any other community in the entire United States in one day.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
We were featured in the American Legion National Magazine, which I did not realize we were the only community that does 51 wreath presentations in one day.
Yeah.
We're overachievers.
I guess that's why.
But anyway, we go to the sunrise service at Western Montana State Veterans Cemetery. Then we go to the breakfast. Then we do Karis Park. Then we do the courthouse. Then we do Fort Missoula Military Cemetery. Then we go back to the Western Montana State Veterans Cemetery at 11:30. Then we go to the Sunset Memorial Gardens, where there is lunch provided.
Oh.
And anyone who goes there, including the general public, can go there for lunch.
Okay.
And we're going to be there, and a flag retirement ceremony is at 12:30. Then we go to the Missoula City Cemetery. Then we go to St. Mary's. Then we go to St. Mary's Annex. Then we go to Rose Park, which will be at
Yes.
approximately 3:15.
Long day.
And there are 20 memorials at
I
Rose
know.
Park.
Remember, I want to do a show about Rose Park.
Well,
you have
need
to
to
hook
show
me
up
up
that
with.
day.
Yeah,
if
maybe.
you want to do it, show up that day.
Yeah, you're right.
We don't
You're
have
right.
time to schedule it any other time.
Yeah. Okay.
And that is the most monumental. So if you want somebody to come,
Yeah.
come that day.
Gotcha.
And we walked from place to place. We say a prayer at each. We place a wreath. It is probably one of the most poignant moments because people are amazed at how many memorials are in
Yeah.
Rose Park.
Yeah.
You don't realize it. It was started for World War II
The Blue Highway
with the
Memorial.
bell and the roses.
Yeah.
Because that was the symbol of World War II.
Too, right.
And so you don't realize how many memorials have cropped up since then.
Yeah.
And then finally, we end up at the University of Montana at the Iraq-Afghanistan Memorial, which is very poignant.
That's
I've
right.
seen that.
Yeah, right in the walk of the big tall pines. It's
The
right
big
there.
pines,
Yeah.
and it's very beautiful next to the music offices.
Yeah.
And then the Honor and Color Guards collapse.
Well, right, because they've been at it
Yeah.
since 6:30.
It
Right.
We shortened it. We used to have speeches and music and concerts and everything, and it got too much.
You had the
Right.
flyover
This
with the
schedule,
wreath.
we did the flyovers
Yeah.
and all that. This alone takes 6.5
Yeah.
hours.
Absolutely.
So it is, even this takes a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of people think Memorial Day is Veterans Day. It is not.
No.
No, and it
Veterans-
started as a Memorial Day, right?
It
Was it a
is.
product of
World
the
War One,
Oh, okay.
Armistice Day. And actually it began back during the Civil War.
That's what I was thinking.
You were right. And the Civil War, to honor the thousands and thousands of people that were killed.
Yeah.
500,000 or more
Oh, yeah.
men died on
Yeah.
both sides. I had relatives that died on the north and the south.
Oh my gosh.
The Campbells were southern and the Howards were northern.
Oh.
And so, I mean, people died all over the place, and
Oh,
it was
yeah.
horrible. So we don't celebrate, we honor the men and women that died in combat on Memorial Day. Basically, Memorial Day is not a day of celebration, it is a day of honor.
Yeah.
Veterans Day is a celebration of all veterans. Memorial Day is just for those that died.
Yeah.
And on September 11th, we changed it a little. We added an honoring of the police and firefighters.
The
that all-
first
First
responder
responders.
concept.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And it becomes a wonderful tribute. And any of you who have participated and gone to any of these services will tell you that by the end of the day, you're drained.
Yes, it's very moving.
It's very emotional, very moving. And
And the public is invited to any one of these
Right.
things.
All
It's
of
not
them.
like you're proposing you've got to start at 6:30 and you'll be done.
No, you can,
no.
show
And-
up. This schedule is on Blue Montana at montana.com.
it is
That's
not.
the email
No, that's
address.
the email
for
address.
Susan.
It's going to be on your
So
your
look at the
website.
MCAT. Okay.
Yeah.
Look,
We do
look
not
to
have a
MCAT.
website. We're not that
We will
important.
carry it for you, dear viewer.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
viewers, MCAT rocks. MCAT is what do we call it? The bomb.
The bomb.
That's right.
They're
It's
the
the
bomb.
Missoula's community resource.
That's
They're
we
right.
determined.
the place to be if you're cool.
So if
Right.
you want to know where to be when, about where to be
Yes.
when, on Memorial Day, go to the MCAT.org
And this is
site.
where you want to go. And I will be in Normandy.
Yes,
But
good
you'll be
for
thinking
you.
of us,
Actually,
won't you?
no, I will not be in Normandy. I will be at Arlington National
Oh, that's right.
Cemetery.
Yeah.
It's a little early, right?
This is the first time in 27 years
That you've missed this day.
that I have
yeah.
missed these services in Missoula.
But I'm
Yeah.
sure it will be a very moving time to be
It
at
will be
Arlington.
very special.
Yeah.
And Sergeant Sam Redfern, who has been with me for years, is going to be my master of ceremonies.
Oh, good.
And he will be here tonight. He was to have been here tonight, today, but he's got 2 little toddlers, and I suspect he got wrapped up in toddler duty.
Right.
He's a wonderful dad. But thank you for having me again.
You're most
Oh,
welcome.
always,
It wouldn't
Susan.
be the spring without you.
We
I
were
know.
figuring this out. Joel and I think we've been together for 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure. I'm sure.
We've been doing these announcements.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
and I would just underscore too that
I
if
think
people
20
in
years.
town want to go to any one of these, that at 10 a.m. Caras Park and
Yes.
at 10:30 they can see the new situation of the doughboy because
It's
they
that's right.
it's so much
Yes.
better than it was where
so
the
much
doughboy
better.
was kind of hidden back there and now you can sit around that tribute and
beautiful.
so
Yeah.
I would just say to people watching that those 2 events you can just come right downtown if the others are confusing and they can't
Right.
remember. 10 a.m. at Caras Park would
Right.
get you started.
Yep.
And the honor guards are the VFW Post 209 honor guard that do the shooting, that do the 21 gun salute. The American Legion Color Guard, the Knights of Columbus Patriotic Order, which are the Catholic swashbuckling guys.
Right.
Yeah, they have those great
Right.
hats.
And the Civil Air Patrol. And we have marvelous volunteer, 100% of all of these services are done by volunteers.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's a huge undertaking.
And it's a tribute to all the work you have done.
I know. Thank you,
Well,
Susan, for
Yeah.
pulling it all together again.
And the flowers are Benson Farms.
Benson's. Excellent.
And we just thank them so much. Beach Transportation, Benson Farms, and Sunset Memorial Gardens.
And somebody's providing the wreaths. Oh,
Yes.
it's Jack and
Oh, my
Susan
goodness.
Jack
Reneau.
and Susan
for donating
Reneau.
our
Just
wreaths.
this year. Anyway, thank you.
You're
and
most
Have a great
welcome.
trip, Susan.
Yeah, I'll
God
be
bless
thinking of you.
America.
Yay.
Well, we'll be right back. Danny Howlett is here from United Way of Missoula County with exciting news about a new Missoula Nonprofit
Yeah.
Center, which you can see right after this.
Awesome.
This is Bill. He just received his new Medicare card and is following some simple rules to protect himself from fraud. He knows to never give out his Medicare, Social Security, or bank number over the phone. And this is Nancy. She knows that to detect any problems, she always reads her Medicare summary notice or Medicare Advantage EOB to make sure the billing is correct. Both Bill and Nancy know that anything suspicious can be reported to Montana SMP at 1-800-551-3191.
I surrender, I surrender.
All right, pal. Get ready for the day, buddy.
Hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. Do we have a gun?
What's that?
Do we have a gun?
You like it?
Oh, we're
Oh, we're
back.
back. Hey,
Just a little bit
so
over.
fast. Yeah.
Danny Howlett is here. Welcome and thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I was so excited to see, when you guys launched the Missoula Nonprofit Center. So I signed MCAT up right away. But what can you tell people about it?
Yeah, so the Missoula Nonprofit Center is a membership-based resource center for nonprofits in Missoula, in and around Missoula. So we are accepting member applications from nonprofits in Missoula County, Ravalli County, and Mineral County. And I mean, the main goal is to just help strengthen Missoula's very vibrant nonprofit sector through a ton of different avenues. So we work through, information sharing, where we're helping people get the word out about events and job postings. And then we're going to do a more technical professional development workshop
Wonderful.
series, kind of covering anything from managing your board to working with planned giving to all those things. that
Yeah.
Yeah,
nonprofits-
that will come up.
And the great thing about Missoula, we have so many nonprofits and thousands of nonprofit workers, and these people are experts.
Right.
So the goal is to share the knowledge, right? Spread the wealth, and have nonprofit leaders lead these workshops and potentially bring people in from out of town, just to really get information out for anybody, any
Yeah.
nonprofit. And we're really excited, and we just launched 2 weeks ago. Or 3.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, and
amazing.
there's going to be an event, isn't there? Like a launch party or some kind of events coming up.
Yeah, we're just going to have a little launch party at our office, and Missoula Nonprofit Center is under the fiscal sponsorship of United Way of Missoula County and staffed by United Way staff, and obviously housed there at the office. So it's at the United Way office, and just a little kind of celebration to kick everything off and facilitate some networking between nonprofit people in Missoula.
When will that be?
May 22nd.
May 22nd.
And it's in the turreted house
Yeah.
on Alder, just
Right.
off of, just by the Partnership in Healthcare.
Yeah. Do you know off the top of your head how many nonprofits or about how many nonprofits are in the Missoula area?
I think there are close to 200
Yeah.
And that might range from 501c3s to 501c6s, a mix of different types of nonprofits. And I know that there are in the thousands of people employed by nonprofits. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And we are too.
Yeah.
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 Surprise,
Dad
surprise.
was one of our first members.
Yeah, so excited for
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And
That's
so
great.
the message too to people that might be watching this segment, if you're a board member, if you're involved with a nonprofit group, this might be something really
yeah.
important for you to check out, because you're all about exchanging information, having a networking source, like say you have a job opening or opportunity for interns and
Yeah.
so on.
You know, every day practically I hear of a new nonprofit that's starting up to address some specific need in the community. And there's no need to reinvent the wheel over and over and over. If you have a question, chances are someone else in a nonprofit in this community has already answered
Worked
it.
on that.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's so great to have this as a
Yeah,
resource.
we're excited. And we have a really awesome weekly newsletter that goes out, and it is so full of information just because there is so much going on with Missoula Nonprofits.
Right.
So we have upcoming events listed out, we have job postings, and we just have kind of, nonprofit news that you can use, and then whatever special things or like grant openings or people searching for volunteers. And another huge piece of the MNC is the Volunteer Missoula side of it. And so a little history is that MNC is the result of a merger between the Missoula Nonprofit Network and Volunteer Missoula. And so those were previously two separate entities that both provided really valuable services to nonprofits,
Right.
but they were separate. They were different annual membership fees, and once both of those entities came under the fiscal sponsorship of United Way, it seemed really smart to put them together.
Sure.
So it's, every member of MNC accesses benefits from both of the entities plus all the new stuff we're adding. And so Volunteer Missoula is really amazing. It's this really intuitive volunteer recruitment platform. And so it's a separate website from the Missoula Nonprofit Center.
So the website still exists.
Yep. Yeah. So it's we link it through the Missoula Nonprofit Center website, but it's its own thing because it's kind of it kind of manages itself. So MCAT could make your Volunteer Missoula account and then post your own volunteer opportunities, and then volunteers also sign up under their own account, and you can link directly through the website, and it gets anywhere from like 5,000 to 10,000 views
Wow.
a month.
Great.
And makes upwards of, there's usually like 50 to 100 direct volunteer referrals where, the volunteer has favorited an organization and then they sign up for whatever opportunity. And then that doesn't even count where someone finds something on Volunteer Missoula and then applies elsewhere, like through the nonprofit organization,
right.
or through their website. So that has been really awesome for connecting nonprofits with volunteers, and Missoula is just full of, civic-minded
Yeah.
Missoulans who want
really
to
are.
help.
So just to be clear about how to do that, so if you're a person sitting at home going, I would really like to volunteer, whether it's for, but you're not sure what work is what is needed right now, this time of year or whatever, or where your interests lie, you would go to the Missoula Nonprofit Center website, and from there you'll be directed to the Volunteer Montana.
Yeah, it's linked in there, and then you can also Google
Volunteer Missoula.
And then it's really easy. You just click sign up, just right on the home page, and then you fill out a little mini profile that just
That's
says,
so cool.
like, you get to select your interests, and then it, kind of matches you up, kind of like a dating site where you click your interest in whatever animals or basic human needs, and then your feed will show you Missoula nonprofits that are searching for volunteers to help them in those areas. So that's another big piece of MNC.
This sounds like much more fun than online dating.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not as risky, I
Yeah, and
suppose.
it's probably way more helpful. to the
Yeah,
community.
you can feel good about yourself
Yeah.
at the same
That's
time.
right.
Yeah.
Well, that's really innovative. I'm glad, someone saw that opportunity,
Yeah.
for the merger of the two existing info lines, and now we've got the great center. So I can't remember, is it a sliding fee scale for nonprofits to join based on their operating, or is it flat?
It's flat. It's $50 for the
Oh,
whole year.
see?
Wow.
Yeah, and it's definitely worth it. And then we need to figure out our full workshop schedule, but the workshops will all be free or very discounted for members. And then the idea was basically that Volunteer Missoula used to be $25, and MNN, the old one, used to
Yeah.
be
What's 25, so.
Now that their powers are combined, it's that's what we're doing for the
Yeah, you're
kids.
getting two for the price of one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's hopefully works out well for everybody. So
That's great.
Yeah.
And something that MCAT has been getting schooled in quite a bit in our merger with the partners of the library that we're going to move into in 13 months or so.
Yay.
Who's counting?
Is this notion of collective impact.
Yes.
So that if groups came together to address a problem, that effectiveness may be increased, on,
Yeah.
on an order of magnitude that might surprise you.
And that's kind of the whole ethos behind United Way.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, and the first example that kind of comes to mind is United Way worked on the event University Food Friday in the fall, and I think for this year when we do it again, we'll be able to utilize Volunteer Missoula and the Missoula Nonprofit Center to make that event an even bigger success by
Right.
recruiting volunteers and nonprofits to essentially just all work together in repackaging food for the food bank. So there are so many events like that in Missoula that I
Sure.
think are really going to benefit. So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, Danny, thanks for taking the time
Yeah.
to be on the show today and let people know that there's this new opportunity. I mean, I don't know if you figure there's X hundreds of nonprofits, well, they all have like 6 to 12 board members.
Yeah.
So there's a good chunk of like thousands of people out there that are board members that may want to know there's a way to improve their nonprofit for a mere $50 a year.
Exactly.
And is it its own website? Is it something one sees at United Way? I know we were showing it to the home audience,
Yeah, it's its
but I
own.
can't read that.
Yeah, that's its own website. It's MissoulaNonprofitCenter.org, and we had that website. We have an amazing kind of backstory to the website. That we had it designed by a college class, an MIS class at the School of Business at UM, where there were 5 teams in this class, and they met with United Way staff to kind of go over our needs for a website for Missoula Nonprofit Center. And then they had a competition, and
Oh,
they
great.
presented to us as if we were the clients.
So
which we
they're
were.
getting experience in how to deal with clients and
Yeah,
pitch.
exactly. And so we went to this amazing presentation, and the classes just did so well, and it was professional,
Neat.
and we had so many good options. And then we picked the website that we wanted to go with and work with, and then we hired an intern from that class to come back this most recent spring semester and fine tune it. And he did a ton of work on it, and was the MIS side of
Wow,
things
that's
to like
really
get the computer
great.
stuff going. So that was just a really cool process too.
Yeah.
So, and now we have an amazing website.
Excellent.
Great.
Yeah.
And to help celebrate, there's a kickoff reception
Yeah.
May 22nd.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, give people the street address on Alder. I'm
Yeah.
so concerned about that sort of thing.
It's 412 West Alder.
412 West Alder. Will there be information about that on the website? Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it somewhere already.
Right.
Or maybe I got an invitation.
I think you got it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, yeah, and feel free to come back and see
Let
us
us
again
know, yeah.
in the fall
Yeah.
and talk about how it's grown. And stuff.
Right, and when you have a schedule of workshops and things, I
Yes,
think everyone would
absolutely.
be interested in that.
And we have 37 members so far.
All right.
Just gonna keep
Oh, yeah.
bringing those numbers up, and yeah. Thanks for having me.
No,
All right, Danny.
We have one more guest here, viewer. Megan Haney is here, and she's representing Missoula People's Market.
People's Market.
And everybody had their market days last Saturday.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how I missed
May
that.
the
Or
4th
I would
be
have
the
been
market
there.
day.
Yeah.
And I invited all three, but we got the People's Market
One showed up.
right after this.
Intersections are where some of the most fatal crashes occur due to T-bone and head-on collisions. The Montana Department of Transportation is committed to building safe roadways throughout the state. Often, roundabouts are the solution to eliminating these types of crashes. Roundabouts reduce fatal collisions by 90% and reduce collisions causing injury by 75%, according to the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. How do roundabouts reduce fatal and serious injury crashes? First, roundabouts naturally encourage drivers to slow for the intersection. Cars slow down to yield to other cars, which force cars when merging onto a roundabout to average 15 to 20 miles per hour. Lower speeds help limit impact if a crash does occur. Second, with no light to beat, drivers do not have the incentive to speed into the roundabout. Third, roundabouts move traffic through the intersection in one direction, thus essentially negating the possibility of T-bone or head-on crashes. This results in decreased traffic collisions, furthering Montana Department of Transportation's Vision Zero goal, ultimately eliminating deaths and injuries on Montana highways. So, as you see roundabouts appear around Montana, including a new set of roundabouts at the Van Buren Street interchange, you'll know roadways are becoming safer and more efficient. Taxpayers have tasked the Montana Department of Transportation with making Montana's roads safer. We take that mission seriously every single day.
We are back. Megan, thank you so much for taking the time to wait and tell us about the People's Market for this new season.
So the Missoula People's Market is at Higgins and Pine. We're the art market. We have handmade stuff. We're in between the Clark Fork and the Missoula
Right.
Farmers Market. Yeah.
Strategically placed in the middle.
Very strategically. Yeah.
And is it going to be, it's on East Pine, so it's right by the art park and everything between.
Oh, we actually moved
across the street.
You did move one.
So now we're
okay.
we're between Ryman and Higgins.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we're in between Susquehanna and the Oxford.
Yeah.
Right in that street.
And there's,
there.
there's just a little more space over there.
There is, and that allows us to have a lot more guest vendors, and we were able to pick up some more members and stuff with that move. So
Oh, yeah.
it expanded our market.
Yeah.
Great.
And I mean, the variety from last year was just amazing. Do you feel like you've got the same number of vendors
Yes.
lined up for this year?
Yeah, we definitely do. We have a lot of members that make a huge variety of things. We offer ceramics, photography. We have
Yeah.
illustrators that offer prints and stickers, jewelry.
Textiles, like I bought some
Yeah.
really interesting napkins from someone who sewed them right here, a
Yeah.
British lady who'd relocated to Missoula, and she had this great fabric of the Eiffel Tower that she made into a number of like
Yeah.
kitchen
It's
things.
just so much fun to see what people
Yeah.
are doing.
Yeah.
Bird feeders out of
Yes.
license plates.
Right,
Yes.
and benches of
Yeah.
old sinker log
Yeah.
wood.
Yeah, we have a guy who makes these cool like scenes out of found rocks and wood.
Oh.
Yeah. It's very interesting what people come up with.
So is this coming Saturday the opening?
Yes, this Saturday, May 11th,
May
is our
11th.
first market. Yeah, we're open from 9 to 1.
And are there food vendors involved in the People's Market?
This year, I don't think we have any specific ones, but food trucks can come and rent spaces
They
just like
can.
anyone else. Yeah.
Now, if people are creative and crafty,
And they are, I've
and
noticed.
so many people are, and they wanted to see if they could have an opportunity at the People's Market, what would they do?
So we would invite them to come be a guest vendor, which basically means on the day of, you come and you find our market booth, which is pretty much on the corner of Pine and Ryman this year. And you would fill out just like a little card letting us know that you do hand make everything. And then you stick your card into a raffle bucket, and we call your name at random, and you get to pick your spot for the day.
Wow.
So it's really that easy.
I didn't even know that was an option. That's
It
amazing.
is, and you know, I think it's a little underutilized. That there's probably a lot of people that hand make stuff in Missoula that don't know it's that easy.
Right.
Yeah, and it's only $20 for the day.
Because the majority of the vendors who are there are members. This is a membership.
Yes, I'd say on any given market, it's probably almost half guest vendors. You know,
Oh,
not all
okay.
members are there every single week, so there's a lot of spaces to give off. But yeah, as a whole, there are a lot of members. Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
So if somebody does have some, and could even be a hobby, and they want to
Yes.
see whether this has legs in the commercial market,
Yeah.
they could go down. Do they come earlier than 9? I should assume.
Yeah, so they need to be checked in by 7:30.
Wow.
And then us members kind of check in by 8, letting letting the market manager know that we're going to take our spot for the day. And
Yeah.
then whoever doesn't check in, those spots are up for raffle for the guest vendors.
And the foot traffic is working, at least last season. Were you guys happy with it? I mean, it seemed like there were a lot of people.
Oh my gosh.
Because there is the Clark Fork Market, there is the Farmers Market, and the
Yeah.
People's Market in between. So you guys are a perfect stop off.
Yes, yeah, we did. We had a lot of good foot traffic last year. The markets are so popular when the weather is so nice, and then a lot of us just rain or shine, so people still come out and see us. And yeah, it's pretty steady all throughout the season.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, what else? Is there something we didn't cover? Like when you came in, you said, "Oh, I don't want to talk about it for." Well, that's it. We have 8 minutes.
Feels like a long time. I'm not sure. I guess just, we're so conveniently located and we offer so much, not just things for yourself, but gifts. Tourists can find some really cool Montana-made stuff with us, too.
That's really true.
Yeah, we offer just a big variety of art, craft, and trade-made stuff.
How long have you been involved with the People's Market?
This is my second year as a member, this is my third year vending, and my first year on the board as the social media marketer.
Oh, that's what got you this gig, you poor thing.
Yeah. So
Because I wanted someone to come, and then, well, we have time. So, for many years I used to go to Stratton Electronics to repair stuff, for MCAT. And then as everything changes, and it always does, we had, our cameras, and we used computers instead of this fancy tape-to-tape editing equipment. So I went out because I wanted to see those guys, and I said to someone come from the People's Market on Facebook, and it was Carol from Stratton. I said, I'm going to send you bacon in the small world,
Yeah, well, in Missoula, everyone really is.
Yeah, we had
degrees
our
or
separation,
less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all know each other in some way.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, in the time that you've been involved with the People's Market, have you noticed any kind of evolution or changes?
I think things are just getting, people can actually start to make a job and a career out of the crafts and the things that they make and sell. With the Maid Fair, too, being so popular in the city, we have the opportunity to kind of make a living off of it. And I don't know if that was entirely the case when it started in 1998. So it's evolved a lot.
That's a very good point. Now, what do you sell? What do you create and sell?
I make copper-plated resin jewelry. I'm
beautiful. I've been admiring your pendant.
Yeah. I have a booth right up against the Oxford every week on there. Yeah.
Well, then maybe you could speak to this issue. And I never imagine it. I'm not a haggler. If somebody says this is this amount of money,
I don't do
I'm
that.
just like, well, that's that. But does it happen at the market? Is it expected?
does.
Is it polite?
I think in this day and age it's really up to the purchaser, and then it's up to the buyer whether they want to tolerate haggling. I personally don't care for haggling. I think a lot of us price our work accordingly to the time that we put in and our skills to make it.
So that's good to hear from someone that participates. Because I read something, and maybe it was comedic, about how people felt disrespected because they wouldn't haggle.
I never thought of that.
Because it wouldn't engage them.
And I think there are different cultures. There are some parts in the world in more of a bazaar B-A-Z.
Yes.
Atmosphere
Yes.
where it might be a part of the
Yeah,
cultural
flea
expectation.
markets and
Right.
food markets and
But this
probably-
isn't a rummage sale. This isn't
Yeah.
these are people putting a value on the art that they create.
Yes, exactly.
And it's respectful.
It's not part of the cultural tradition to say,
Right.
oh, I'll make it higher.
Because I know they're gonna want to
They'll say
yeah.
they'll ask lower, and then we'll have this
Right.
heated exchange, which is really fun.
Right.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, not at all.
No fun for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we make a good effort to keep things affordable and reasonable.
absolutely.
'Cause we
So
want our
true.
community to come out and shop local.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a very good point too, right? That when people are making purchases at the People's Market, that money is going right into the Missoula economy.
It
It's
is.
not like there's this corporate superstructure that needs to take an aggressive chunk of
Yes.
that value
No,
into,
it's staying right here.
and then it
Yeah.
hides in the echelons of the wealthy, of which we know
Too.
nothing.
The way
So-
that the guest vendors only pay $20 and our members' fees aren't that bad. It's even the market doesn't take very much. So
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
So and on top of that, instead of helping to pay for a boutique to keep the lights on and the air conditioning on and all of that, you've got a
Yeah, they're doing
craftsperson
their
at
sweat
their little
equity.
table, and you're really just
You're
getting a
talking
deal.
to the person who
Yeah.
made it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nice human connection.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this is the first sign of spring, I think.
Yeah.
The People's
Yes,
Market is going to be open on Saturday. I'll be there.
9 to 1.
Yes.
And then if someone is watching and is a hobbyist and would like to try, this raffle is no guarantee that they'll get a spot for
Right.
that day.
Well, with our new placement on the
Yeah.
other side of the street, we've not had to turn anyone away.
Oh, wow.
So it's a pretty good shot, but you
Yeah.
need to be there at 7:30.
You have to check in by 7:30.
Early
Yeah.
bird gets the worm.
The word.
Yes.
Well, okay, I guess we've exhausted you with 2 minutes to go. And this is our last show since I'm going on holiday.
Oh my gosh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm
gosh,
gonna
I'm sorry to spring it on you live.
no time
Because
to
there'll be a
prepare.
pre-recorded one about summer camps for
Oh,
May
right,
20th because I'll be
Okay.
in transit from the
I
holiday.
didn't even know you were going.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fabulous. Good
Yeah.
for you.
And I'm going to Hawaii for a while.
Oh, I'm
Just
gonna
a week.
miss everybody
I
for the
know.
summer.
We'll miss you, dear viewer of Missoula Live. I don't even know how long you and I have been doing it as a co-host.
Way long.
5 years?
It's been 5. For
Easily.
Sure. Yeah, 5 or 6, I think.
So we want to wish you a really happy
Have a
and
great
healthful summer.
Yay.
Safe summer. Don't take those risks, dear viewer.
Right.
They're
And-
probably not worth it.
And I volunteer this summer.
Yeah, there's the Missoula Nonprofit. Oh, and that reminds me, just as a last minute thing, the work for Dragon Hollow needs tools.
Right, there is
Teresa
a
Cox
good thing.
contacted us. Their intense remake of Dragon Hollow is coming
gotta
up.
get
And
Neil
so
to
she sent out
get some
a begging.
Tools.
Please, so if you're into the carousel, if you're into Dragon Hollow, now is the time. They will mark your tools like who you are. They'll keep incredibly good care of it. They'll return them probably better than you may have brought.
Claims, yeah. But yeah, volunteer this summer. Make Missoula great.
Yeah. Have a great summer, dear viewer. We'll see you, Lord willing, in the fall.
Bye.